Hello, everyone, and welcome to Mostly Football, episode 6. Tonight, it's me, it's Nate the Dirty Bird, and thank goodness he's here because we're talking NFC South and his Atlanta Falcons. Also, we're talking NBA playoffs. Currently, the Celtics are playing the Heat. Ooh, hot. And we're talking equal pay in soccer. Stick around, join the chat. Who knows what's going to happen? It's mostly football. What'd you think of that intro? Trying something new there. A little spice with the Macho Man at the end.
Yeah.
You excited, man? You got Jordan Davis, his big goofy face behind you. You ready to talk some
I'm always
Atlanta
gonna keep
football?
doing this, dude. This right here, if this never happens again, this is gonna be something I get to live with forever.
Hey, he's about to rescue our franchise, so I'm ready for it.
Hey, I don't know so much about rescuing your franchise, but I think he's definitely gonna help your defense out tremendously.
All right. I mean, you could always just downplay what I say and throw a wet towel on my hot fire for the rest of the show.
Yeah, I don't
So
know if
for the MFers out there, yes, TJ's not here. He's here in spirit. Unfortunately, he got the COVID and passed. No, I'm just kidding. He's still with us, everyone. Don't worry about it. I'm sure we'll drag him on next week. He'll talk Cowboys. Who knows? But tonight, as we speak, the Miami Heat playing the Boston Celtics. I don't even have to go pirate it.
gas is rated.
I'm not even on some weird site that might just, shut down the entire grid. I am watching it with bunny ears tonight.
They're getting their asses rated right now. It is 69-37.
Yeah, the Heat are up, and
No,
it's
they're
always.
not. Celtics are up.
Oh, I read that wrong.
You definitely.
Okay, Celtics are way, way up. 69, nice to
It
37.
was almost a 30 point. It's a 30 point, dude. What is wrong?
Got
It's
about
32
7 minutes left
points.
in the third, and the Heat 2-1 lead in the
Yeah, they
series.
got a 2-1 lead. Celtics gonna tie it up after this.
I'll admit, dude, I haven't been following this particular series very much. Not a lot of spice for me. I like the
It's
Golden
not.
State. I like the Mavericks one a lot better.
Yeah, Mavericks go to state one. Dallas screwed themselves a couple. Like game 2, Dallas screwed themselves. And last night in game 3, they most definitely screwed themselves. They just came out flat in the second half. It just was bad. Reggie Bullock finished 0 of 10. So Luka did what he can do, but you're going to do so much.
Also, it's tough because the thing is, like, you're not going to out 3 Golden State.
No.
Yeah.
I need your team to go for it.
Yeah. Too many shooters. They get punches and bunches. You got to win down low, I think. You got to win with size. We've had this debate before about size versus, winning on the outside. And it's just Golden State, man. They're just not going to – to me, they remind me like if I was going to compare their basketball style to a football style, they remind me a lot of the Colts when they had Peyton Manning still on the team. But, yeah, go ahead and say what you're going to say.
No, so Dallas has been having issues since the playoffs started, and they've been giving up a lot of points in the paint, and that's Steph did. He shot threes last night, but a lot of their points came from in the paint. A lot of them. They had a lot of offensive rebounds, a lot of second chance opportunities, and Dallas just couldn't. They tried to fight as much as they could, but it just Golden State at some point it becomes too much. If you don't have a game plan, it's just going to be too much for you.
Well, also, it's pretty underestimated. Curry, I don't think, your average fan, I don't think really pays attention to just how good he is when he cuts and goes underneath for those layups. Whether either hand, he's pretty strong down there. Like, he doesn't look like he'd be strong at all, but he can work his way through the paint and put some fancy moves on guys. Like, he's not just an outside shooter. He's not just a JJ Redick, if you know what I'm saying.
Right.
He's a guy who can really, if you get in too close on that up fake, he is going to.
He's not, and the thing is, he's not afraid to go down there. He'll take it, and he'll take the bump, and he'll keep it moving.
No, he loves it. And Clay, I love the hair. I love the old school style. It's pumping out. You got the headband on. I wish the shorts were even shorter. I wish the
Jackie
socks were even
Moon.
higher. But it is what it is. And then what really is underestimated too is the effect that Draymond Green has on that team defensively. When he makes a play, when he slaps someone in the what, it really fires up the rest of the crowd. It fires up the team, and I think without him, I haven't watched too much of Golden State this year, to be honest, or whenever they're without him, but I don't think they're ever too much of a better team without Draymond Green.
They definitely miss his leadership. That's for sure.
Yeah.
They most definitely miss his leadership.
So I don't know. We'll see if your best player is putting up 40 points and it's still not enough. You're still getting taken to the shed by the other team, then usually doesn't bode well for you. I don't think. We'll see. This next game with Dallas is crucial.
I think Dallas. I think to save face, I think Dallas knows they have to win this next game, but they're not gonna win the series. So if they do win next game, Golden State takes it game 6, and then it's a done deal.
What's the series tied at, right?
3-0.
It's 3-0.
Yeah.
Yikes.
3-0 deficit.
We've got this article here, 5 takeaways from Warriors' big win in Game 3 of Western Conference Finals. Here from Michael C. Wright, kind of like John C. Riley. NBA.com. He writes, a police officer stood guard in front of a half-drawn curtain near the entrance to the visitors' locker room as Golden State strolled past, celebrating Sunday's 109-100 win. And even that score doesn't really tell the story of just how degraded Dallas seemed at a lot of points throughout the game. I thought, I didn't watch all of the game, but from what I saw, I was like, man, everything we do, we're throwing the sink at them and nothing's, working here.
Right.
Through the crack in the curtain, you could see the line of staffers waiting. Through the smacks of sweaty high fives, you could hear, geez, man, this guy's getting a little hot and heavy. Through the smacks of sweaty high fives, you could hear joy reverberating as the Warriors seized a 3-0 lead in this best-of-7 series to force the Mavericks into near impossible position. See teams falling behind 3-0 in a postseason series own a record of 0-146 all time in league annals. Wow. So that's not good, right?
No, not at all. Not remotely good at all.
That's not even, so you're saying there's a chance?
There's no chance.
Wow. Let's see what Draymond's saying here. He's apparently saying, yes, sir. Let's see if this worse is worth it right here.
Yes, sir! Yes, sir! Come on!
There's totally worth it. Totally worth every second of that. Draymond just strolling through the back, high-fiving guys, slapping you-know-whats.
Hey,
Clay,
man, sports.
Let's watch that again. I want to see Clay's face because Clay kind of gave him a, come on, guy. Let's see that
Yes,
again.
sir! Yes, sir!
Look at Clay's face at the end here.
Come on! Thank you! Let's go!
Nah, never mind. I read it wrong. Clay was into it. He was into it. I read it wrong. Oh, well.
Like I said, the games are exciting because they're it's never a blowout. I think at one point Dallas was leading at they got to 12 or 13, but it's Golden State. You can't count them out.
No, those games are exciting. Even when Dallas did look kind of deflated, I mean, at least Luka still does something amazing.
Yeah,
these games here.
Towards the end, Luka, he hit a big 3 towards the end, but it was just at that point, and then they hit, and then Golden State came back and hit a big 3, and that was kind of it. That was the end. So, what can you do?
I do like Bam Adebayo. I will say that. Bam's, he's a fun watch.
He was a max contract player a couple years ago. Now he's just a role player.
One of my bosses, from a past life, his last name was Adebayo, so I have a soft spot for Bam. Not gonna lie, those Nigerians, man, they're killing it.
Yeah,
they are killing it. Anyways, before we get too dark, whoa,
Jesus.
too deep down that hole. No, seriously.
Are you sure you want to do this one?
Well, yes, I am actually.
You
So this
sure?
next story here, this actually happened a little while ago.
Right.
We have this article from sfgate.com. U.S. soccer equalizes pay in milestone with women and men. Well, women, comma, men. I added the end. I don't know why. Women, comma, men. The U.S. Soccer Federation reached milestone agreements to pay its men's and women's teams equally, making the American national governing body the first in the sport to promise both sexes matching money. And Nate, if you ask me, damn it, it's about time.
It's about time. All right, listen. Okay. What episode is this? 6? Okay. So this is episode 6. So hopefully this is not our last episode.
Our last episode. We made it 6, baby.
This is dumb. It's stupid. Okay. People think that you can't pay someone. Listen, performance is one thing. Individual performance, yeah, hell yeah, you can pay someone a lot of money as long as you can afford it. Okay. Just because the women's soccer, let's get it, they're probably better than the men's soccer team. But the thing is, they don't bring in the revenue. Okay. If you're not bringing, that would be like me overpaying. That would be like me having a business and overpaying my employees, knowing damn well I can't afford it. If I'm not bringing in the revenue to cover my employees, at some point, guess what's going to happen? You're going to have to start firing people. Some people are going to get cut. Some people are going to have to take pay cuts. You can't just say, all right, we're going to pay them equally. You can't do it because the revenue isn't equal. If the revenue isn't equal, then you can't equally pay people. This would be like saying, all right, we're gonna start paying Candace Parker like we pay LeBron James, or like we pay Steph Curry, or we pay Anthony Davis. You cannot pay Candace Parker $200 and some odd million for 5 years, and you're not bringing in that. You can't. And then the NBA brings in what? What? Let me see. Let's see how much the NBA brought.
In defense of Parker, I think I just read a headline the other day that said she was the oldest player in WNBA history to score a triple-double. And that really hurt because I like freshly remember Candace Parker getting drafted. And now she's the oldest player doing something. To say she's the oldest anything just is like
and this
stabs me right in my old heart at 31.
So the NBA last year brought in $6.41 billion.
Hey-oo.
That's what they brought in last year.
That's one javelin missile.
Huh?
That's one javelin missile.
Right, and that was a 19% decrease from 2020.
That's just one humanitarian mission, baby.
So the WNBA's revenue from 2021 was.
Wait! Before you look it up, let's both guess.
Huh?
So at least we have a good starting point there. So the NBA was $6 billion.
Yeah,
let's guess WNBA. I'll go half. I'll go $3 billion.
The WNBA?
Yeah, half the Well, okay, never mind. Let's go half of a half because let's say no men watch the WNBA, so only women watch the WNBA. That's half the population, and then I know for a fact at least half of women don't watch the WNBA. So we're going half of a half there. I'm gonna say 25. Shit, now I've really cut it off. So let's go 1.75 billion.
1.75? Sweet Jesus. All right, well, I'm going to tell you.
I think that's good. That's a good way to go about it.
So here's the target, Dylan. The target's right here at this mic, okay? This is the target. You wait a
Damn it.
Bro, so it says.
I was trying to have equal guesses, you know?
It doesn't give a specific number. But I found something. as of like
doesn't give a specific number. It's all murky. Like, well, if you include hot dog sales and
so
obviously you have to take out. We had to pay people not to burn down the arena a few summers ago. So there's a
so
few.
basically it states. Hold on, I'm trying to find it. So basically, it states that the WNBA averages per year $60 million, and it takes $70 million to run the season. So your cost, you're paying more.
Wait, where's Nate Dogg? Hold up? What did you just say?
It says
Hold up.
It says, in terms of raw numbers, the WNBA generates roughly $60 million in revenue every season. This is
So they make $60 million from.
This is as of
everything they
October 5th, 2021. So this is just last year. So as of last year, it says they make $60 million in revenue.
Okay. Obviously not 6 billion, but continue.
And it says when matched up against the 70 million the league costs to run, it costs you 70 million to run the league, and you only bringing in 60.
So you're telling me
you're in the negatives.
You're telling me you're not only are you not making any money, you're costing every team owner money.
Facts.
By just having a team.
Steph Curry can pay the entire WNBA salary with his salary.
Oh, why doesn't he get on it? Isn't he for equal pay? Steph, let's go, buddy.
He's not been to cough up his money.
Now I know what the title of this episode. Steph Curry does not care about the WNBA.
So that's what I'm saying. So let me see. Let's see.
Hold on. Let me read some into this article here from Ann M. Peterson and Ronald either Blum or Bloom. I'm gonna go with Blum because it's funnier. Blunkin, hey. AP Sports Writers down here. The U.S. Soccer Federation reached milestone agreements to pay its men's and women's teams equally. Yikes. Making the American national governing body the first in the sport to promise both sexes matching money. I said that already. The Federation on Wednesday announced separate collective bargaining agreements through December 2028 with the unions for both national teams, ending years of often acrimonious negotiations. God, so many big words. The deals grew partly out of a push by players on the more successful women's team. Like you said, the women's team is better against other women.
Right.
When you're playing against other women, this team is better than when the men's team plays against other men, is the bottom line there.
Right. And again,
Alex Morgan, Megan Rapinoe, Ellen DeGeneres,
you gotta look at it this way. The Detroit Lions are probably one of the worst franchises in the NFL in terms of winning, right? And they the
Detroit Lions are terrible. Worst.
And they still make enough money to pay out big ass contracts. So that should tell you something. If you look at the WNBA and you find their best team, okay, you pick the best team in the WNBA against the worst team in the NBA, you still don't come close. So that should tell you something. It's not about wins and losses. It's about draw. It's about what people want to watch.
Dude, not only that, I mean, famously, like a team of 15-year-old boys beat the women's national team in soccer.
And that,
according to what I read, they weren't even trying. The women's team, they were just messing around. But I think they lost like 2-0 or maybe worse.
I saw a video where 60-year-old men, 60-year-old men beat them.
I mean, a team of professional women's soccer players lost to a team of boys who's maybe they have Bush, maybe they don't. The 15. It's like, my God.
If like I said, you got to think about it. The Sacramento Kings suck. Okay, we all agree that Sacramento.
Take your word for it. Kings suck.
But they still make enough revenue to pay out big ass contracts.
Queens suck too, if you know what I'm saying.
But that's the one thing that people are not understanding. That's the one thing people are failing to understand. It's not about we're better. It's not about wins and losses. It's about the revenue. It's about what are you bringing in every year. If you're only bringing in 60 million and it takes you 70 million, you're in the negative. You're negative right now. You can't even afford to pay. You can't even afford to run the league to its full capacity because you don't make enough and you still got to pay your players.
Look, I understand that. I understand the logic of our team is more successful than their team. Therefore, dot dot dot. We should get as much or more money. But what they're not understanding is that nobody is watching you be more successful.
And
Nobody's watching it. I don't
not a
care
single
if it
soul.
looks like a fine wine, a beautiful painting. You guys just kicking the ball around out there against other women. Nobody is watching it.
Not a single soul.
If
Well,
they
if you look,
were, it would be generating money. The people would be buying memorabilia and going to games and yada yada yada. Unfortunately,
it's
your
not.
games, and I've never actually seen a game, so maybe my foot in my mouth here, but your games look like a pandemic college football game at Toledo.
It does. If you look about, you've never seen. I've never since I have been alive. I have never seen a single person wear a Candace Parker jersey or a Lisa Leslie jersey or a Cheryl Swoops jersey or a Sue Bird jersey. I've never seen those jerseys. I've never seen people wear them.
Never
You'll
know what.
see, dude. You'll see someone wear a DeMarcus Cousins jersey.
I have worked with a woman, a homosexual woman before. Never once did I see her wearing a Lynx jersey, a Sparks jersey. Not
Nope.
once.
No, hey, you gotta think about it. Women don't support women. Majority of all sports across the platform.
I've worked with many women, whether or not they're homosexuals. I'll throw that in there. I've worked with many women in my day who they don't wear softball
No,
jerseys.
they don't talk
Why
about
not?
it. Men, you look at the spectrum across. You look at sports across the spectrum, right? You look at baseball, hockey, soccer, football, basketball. Majority of the viewers, the majority of the people who go to these games are men. Majority of them. Now, if you look at women's sports, majority of the audience is men. So that's an issue. So if majority of your audience, if it's female sports and majority of your audience is men, where are the feminists at? Where are the feminists that are yelling women should be paid equally because sports is it? Why aren't you watching sports? Why aren't you supporting these football games? Or why aren't you watching these basketball games? Why are y'all not packed? Dude, literally, one Golden State Warriors game could probably pay the entire salary of the WNBA. One finals game could probably pay the entire salary.
The article goes on to say perhaps the biggest sticking point was World Cup prize money, which is based on how far a team advances in the tournament. While U.S. women have been successful on the international stage with back-to-back World Cup titles, differences in FIFA prize money meant they took home far less than the men's winners. American women received $110,000 bonus for winning the 2019 World Cup. The U.S. men would have received $407,000 had they won in 2018. But that's not just apples to, that they say it like it's apples to oranges, right? Well, you get the impression from right there it's apples to oranges.
It's the biggest thing that these women are not understanding. It's not about how you perform. Because if that was the case, the Detroit Lions, the Jacksonville Jaguars, the New York Giants wouldn't have the revenue. It's not about that. It's about your TV deals. It's about sponsorships. It's about jersey sales. It's about everything. The New York Giants.
Do you have a pool in your stadium or not?
Right. The Jacksonville Jaguars, they would put a fucking swimming pool, and they suck. They put a swimming pool in their stadium.
Sometimes you got to do goofy shit like that when you suck. The Buccaneers, when they sucked, they had a cannon in there.
And they still have the cannon. The Las Vegas Raiders, they put it. They have, dude. Their stadium is worth the what they cost to make that stadium could pay the WNBA 10 times over.
You know, and it just looks like a big, I don't know.
Hell, the Mercedes-Benz Stadium that the Falcons play in, shit, costs more than what they make in a year.
Yeah, but I mean, you know,
It
when you can pump noise into a stadium like that, that costs money.
it for me it's not for me. It's not about equality. It's not really about equality. And the problem is that women are so short-sighted, and a lot of their problems that they have, a lot of these issues is more emotional than it is logical. And
there we go.
When you have a situation where you're like, oh well, men do this, men do that. Listen, okay, men's sports is always going to get paid higher than women's, is because the revenue, the audience, people spend money to go to men's back. People will spend a ton of money just to sit courtside. Ain't nobody paying that type of money to go sit courtside at a WNBA game. You think somebody gonna pay almost what? I don't know. I can't think. Most of the Warriors, when they were going to the playoffs, dude, their courtside seats were outrageous.
Oh yeah, dude. If I won tickets to courtside WNBA, I would still be like, can we check the weather for that night?
Right. That's the biggest thing is that it's not about performance. It's not about performance. It's about what people care about. People don't care about women's basketball, and it sucks to say it. I hate to say it, but that's the truth. People don't.
Oh great.
People don't.
Great. That my laptop kicked off before we got started. Now I got last week's banners on here. Great. That's just great. Listen, take into account half of that banner. Welcome to the show, everyone.
Women could play butt ass naked. Okay? Butt fucking naked. And you still won't generate the revenue at all. You still will not generate that type of revenue. You won't get that revenue that the NBA makes or the NFL makes. Hell, I saw a video, and this was stupid. Some lady asked another lady, these obviously feminists, there's like, should sports be divided by gender? And the lady was like, no, it's fucking stupid. Excuse me? No, it's not. There's not a single soul in the WNBA that could stop Shaq today. Okay? Yeah. And I'm not talking about prime Shaq. I'm talking about Shaq right now. Analyst Shaq. TNT Shaq.
It clearly only goes one way when you talk about like the men. Well, I don't know. That would actually maybe that would be fun to watch, but you would have to.
I would want to do it just to make a point. I would honestly, me personally, if just to end this and just to shut them up, I would do it. I would grab the top 5 NBA players, and they grab the top 5 WNBA players, and we play a game to 21. And I promise you, it is going to be a slaughter. Okay? I don't care. Candace Parker is what? How tall is Candace Parker? She's like 6'5".
I don't think so. I think like Brittany Griner being 6'5" is like a big deal.
Their tallest player. Let's say their shortest. Our NBA shortest player is more athletic than their NBA's tallest.
Listen, when Brittany gets back from Russia, she'll be about 4 inches shorter. I can tell you that.
As if she gets back from Russia, you can't sit. So, and there was something that happened like a while ago that Shaq made a comment to Candace Parker, and he had a point. And what he said is maybe y'all should lower the rim about 2 inches, and you'll probably generate more you probably get more excitement. And she got upset. She got offended by it. And I'm like, why would you get offended? If you look at it, nobody in the WNBA dunks. And if they do dunk, the only people who dunking is the tall people.
Yeah, I don't think anyone dunks.
No, Brittany Griner doesn't really dunk. She kind of more of like, it's more of like a putback. Like she taps. Like it's not like she doesn't really dunk. Like Lisa Leslie celebrated when she dunked. Like she
Yeah,
won a
in
damn
the
championship.
WNBA, they make it look like volleyball. Like one person bumps it, the other person
Yeah,
chucks it, and
basically.
then Griner spikes it in.
You can't. You can't. For me, it's like you can't. You have to draw in a crowd. You have to draw in an audience. The NBA has been around for a long ass time, and a lot of these people are generational. Like their dads took them, their dads took them. So it's a generation thing, but also it's entertainment. I know if I go to a Mavericks game or if I go to a Lakers game or I go to something, it's going to be exciting. Either someone's going to get dunked on, something spectacular is going to happen. Something fun is going to happen. I don't want to watch you shoot the ball at the rim and you just laying bricks the whole night. I don't want to see that. My dad, I don't know how my dad does it, but he faithfully every year watches the WNBA playoffs all the way to the finals. I have no idea how he does it. I actually tried to do it one day. I was like, I can't do this. This is no good. This isn't good. Like last night, Andrew Wiggins put Luka Doncic in a body bag. That would never happen in the WNBA. That was exciting. Even the people in Dallas were shocked. Like you could hear the collective gasp when it happened. Mind you, the referees are a bunch of idiots and they tried to call a charging foul, but you don't get to see stuff like that. You need to draw in an audience. You need to draw in people who want to sponsors. Those are the people you want to. That's who you really need to want. You want to draw in people. You want to get TV deals. Most of their games are on ESPN2. No one watches ESPN2.
It's just more, it's just more of this. Everyone gets a trophy, participation trophy. Let's go anti-meritocracy. Let's all have the same. It just doesn't. It's not supposed to be like that. Especially like sports is the pinnacle of meritocracy. You put in the work,
Yep.
and this and that, and like I understand, that doesn't even apply to this situation because, this is more about what the fans are reacting to. This isn't even about like whether or not women are better than men, because clearly in this situation, like we said, the women are better in their respective sport against other women than the men are against other men. So, and that's not even the argument of who's more talented. It's just who's watching it. It's that simple. Like, are people paying attention? Are people spending money on your product? It's not that hard. Like, you would never go to two pizza stands. One pizza tastes like shit. The other one's bomb-ass pizza, and tell them that they both should get the same amount of pay. That would never happen.
Not at all. There's actually
you should charge just as much for your shitty pizza as this place that has the bomb pizza over here. That totally that just nobody would ever be like,
you'll be out of business in no time. And that's what's going to happen with this soccer team. Yeah. They are going to go again. You don't see people wearing your jerseys. You see people wearing what's his name, Ronaldo, or you've seen people wear his jersey. You've seen people. What's the other guy name?
And I'm not even saying that women's soccer is shitty pizza. That's just how everyone apparently they would rather not. They're fine with not watching it. Otherwise, they would seek it out. I don't think what's the argument here that there's a conspiracy to keep like women's sports under wraps? Like I love watching personally, even if they wore full diving suits, I would still watch women's beach volleyball because I enjoy watching the sport of beach volleyball. Like that's just me. I would seek it out. I watch it when it's on. So do I think that there's like it's not like a sexist thing like all women's sports suck. No, it's just some sports are more exciting to watch men play it. Like if I watch pool, I'm not going to be like, the female pool player should make less because a lot of female pool players are just as good and they're just as better of just as much of a draw, if not more of a draw, because there's like a sexy, Black Widow type tone to it. But
Right.
yeah,
But you got to look at it, and it's a reality thing. You got to look at it this way. So now that they did this, so here's gonna be the next question. Again, this goes back to business. If I own a business, let's go with the pizza thing, right? So let's say I have a pizza shop, right? And we're right next door to Pizza Hut. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna charge what Pizza Hut charge, even though my pizza is not as good or is not as good as Pizza Hut. I'm gonna charge the same prices. I'm gonna go out of business.
mm-hmm.
Especially if I gotta pay my employees. I can't if I'm not making any money, right? I can't overpay my employees, and that's what's gonna happen. I'm telling you, it's going to happen. The WNBA is going to happen. This is going to happen. It is coming to the WNBA, and they're going to be homeless. All those women are going to be fucking homeless.
Dude. And sometimes, for whatever reason, even if your pizza was just as good as Pizza Hut, maybe your signage is bad, maybe the area is bad. Like, who knows? Like, for whatever reason, people are not seeking out your pizza, and the Pizza Hut is just more, right up their alley. They think of Pizza Hut, there it is. These pizza references are maybe getting off track here. But
no,
the bottom line is people are seeking out men's sports and not women's sports. And that's not just a sexist thing, because if it was all about being sexist, then it would be split right down the middle, because there are just as many women in this country as there are men. And if women love women's sports as much as men love men's sports, then it would be right down the middle. But it's not. Clearly, it's just something that men and women do not seek out, is watching women's sports.
Listen to me. It's crazy. Women go to NFL games. Women go to NBA games, and they go in. There's big crowds of women that go to these games. You don't see big ass crowds going to WNBA games. Hell, there are a bunch of like semi-professional women football leagues. You don't hear about them because no one wants to see it. No one's talking about it. If women really cared about women's sports, they would be majority. If you look at it, majority of the of all sports is men. That's what it is. Why isn't it that way with women? Why are women not supporting women? Women say they support women, but they're not really supporting women. They don't support soccer. They don't support the WNBA. Hell, they should have their own football league, but they don't, because they don't make. No one's going to pay for it.
And it's not even like a trying to guilt women into being like, hey, what are you doing? It's just a simple fact. Like, it's more so an argument against the idea that it's all sexist. Like, it's not about anyone hating women. It's just your product, for whatever reason, is undesirable.
It sucks.
You know what I mean? Nobody wants to watch it.
No, that's what it is. It's you can't have a product and it sucks, and then try to force feed it to me and then make me pay for it. Because now, what happens when you start running out of money? What happens when all this money that you're putting, that now you're paying these players? What happens then? You're gonna start losing money. You're gonna go broke, and then guess what? Now we gotta start cutting players. Now we gotta start doing pay cuts. Now you gotta start reconstruction. We gotta restructure your contracts. There's a lot that go into it. A lot that goes into it. And this lady here, the one that's on the screen, I don't like her at all.
The old rapping
I despise this lady because she is a complete idiot. She's the one that's been leading this charge.
Look at her.
She's been leading this charge, and again, when women use women use emotion. They don't use logic. They hate logic for whatever reason. Women, they hate using logic. If you
Can
really
I just say that's exactly what my arms look like. Can I just say that?
if you
get that off my chest.
if you really think about it, if you took someone who really understood economics, you would understand you can't overpay for something that's not making money. If you're not making that type of money, you can't pay these players that type of money because at some point you're gonna go out of business.
Yeah,
And
I
and
mean,
then and then when they go out of business, guess what they're gonna say? Oh, it's men's fault. How is it our fault? It's not our fault that nobody want to watch this shitty sport.
got another story here as we make I think we brought it home on that one. Like it's just silly. It's silly to force something like that onto people
It
in
is.
this country where it's supposed to be meritocracy. Say what you will about its flaws. America is not perfect, but the one idea that I think was working pretty well was the idea that whoever put the best product out there, got the most back for it. And unfortunately, seems like that's not everyone's priority anymore. So. You and I both have daughters. I'm never going to tell my daughter if she can't do something, but I'm also not going to, if she asks, hey, why does the women's team not make as much? Then unfortunately, I gotta talk to a 10-month-old about TV contracts. Great.
Right. For me, I'm gonna put it like this. For me, my parents never lied to me. They told me the truth, regardless of how I felt about it or what it did to me. My parents told me the truth, and I feel like a lot of these feminists, or these new feminists, their parents didn't tell them the truth. Their parents lied to them. Their parents told them that fucking life is just cupcakes and rainbows and
You can be
fucking
anything you want to be.
yeah, yeah. That I feel like I feel like their parents told them that, and they lied to them. They
You're
gave them this
beautiful.
false,
You're special.
yeah, and they gave them this false sense of security. And now they get into the world, and life is kicking the dog shit out of them. Now all of a sudden, now they want free stuff. Now they want handouts. Now they want, oh, we want to get paid the same as men. Okay, you want to get paid the same as men? Do this. Stop wasting your money in college on bullshit degrees.
How about that?
It's that simple. Stop
Then
going to school for design or fucking whatever fashion. Go to school for something serious. Come back. What is it? There's so much you can do, but y'all decide to go through 4 fucking years in college for fashion or business administrative.
It feels like you're talking. It feels like you're talking to someone specific here.
I'm not. It's just you keep hearing the same argument. Men make more than women. Yes, because men do more of the dangerous shit. You don't see a lot of women in the oil field. You don't see a lot of women in the coal mines. I don't see a lot of women going offshore for work. Like, me personally, I don't want to go fucking offshore. I've seen some of the shit that those dudes got to do on oil rigs. Guess what? I ain't fucking doing it. Sorry, I'm not fucking doing it.
Yeah, I've seen in oil rigs. Okay, the guys were working, the girls were getting laid. Liv Tyler.
Could you imagine being on a fucking rig in the middle of the fucking ocean? No, I couldn't do it. I'm not doing it. No, you kiss my ass. The fire breaks out and I'm assed out. I gotta wait till you got it. No. So if you really want to make money, stop wasting your time and your money, and then you get into debt because you went 4, 5, 6 years in college for a bullshit degree that you can't use. You can't fucking use a degree.
Nate, we're gonna make a hard left here. We're gonna talk about Michael Vick. This from Fox News. Michael Vick staying retired. Won't play in fan-controlled football. I don't know. I didn't hear a thing about this fan-controlled football until the highlights already started coming out.
Dude, you had no idea how excited I was. Like, oh yeah. I was like, yes, my favorite player is coming back. And then he was like, psych, I'm not coming back. It's like, you bastard.
By David Arrow of Fox News, Michael Vick won't be playing in the fan-controlled football league after all. Reuters reported that Vick was expected to unretire and join the startup league for a game later this month, but the electrifying dual-threat quarterback known for his time with the Atlanta Falcons and Philadelphia Eagles took to Twitter Sunday to write that he is staying retired. I hung him up in 2015, never to return again, Vic wrote. Had an amazing time and accomplished so much. I say that to say they're going to stay hung up, and I will not be coming out of retirement. There it is.
I'm trying to figure out when. I
For
don't know.
those just listening, we got a picture of the cleats strung up over the, the phone wire.
I think that'd been. I think it'd have been good. It'd be exciting.
I'm sure that's on, Martin Luther King Boulevard somewhere
Oh my God, Jesus
in a
Christ!
really nice part of town.
I don't know. This dude like I don't know. The XFL is starting to gain a lot of traction. This USFL has been gaining traction. I feel like me personally, the NFL should like to like use these as pipelines. I think the XFL and the USFL they should use the NFL as pipelines. All right, let's give us the players that have made the rosters. Give us the players that are still free agents. Give us the players that want to still play football. And we'll help develop them. And then once they're, and if you feel like they're good, hey, guess what? You can go sign a contract with this team because we all know that these fucking the NFL, these leagues are not going to make as much as the NFL. Like we all know that. But
This picture makes me sick. Oh my God. Are you seriously going to put a picture of Orlando Scandrick taking down Michael Vick as an Eagle? Oh my God. That's disgusting. Fox News. I'm never. Tucker Carlson. F you, man. Sean Hannity, you can stick it up your butt.
Orlando Scandrick was probably by far the worst DB.
What is going on here? Vic still holds the record for most rushing yards for a quarterback in league history, 6,109.
It's probably going to Lamar might get there.
Lamar could get there. But
if he stays healthy.
Yeah, it's tough. It is tough. Hard out there for a bit. So that's it. Fan controlled football, Manziel, Owens, no Vic, apparently.
That's unfortunate.
It is unfortunate. I'd like to know what's the other star power that's out there?
I think there's Josh Gordon's? I know Josh Gordon's in there.
Really?
Yeah.
I think he and Manziel
are on the same team.
That locker room probably stinks.
I think he learned his lesson. God.
Let's switch into this one.
This is probably the biggest news.
From Bleacher Report. Headline, Alabama's Nick Saban calling out Jimbo Fisher, Deion Sanders, quote, was a mistake. From Scott Polachek. Nate, what do you know about this?
I know Nick Saban hates them. I'm not going to say he hates the kneel. I'm just going to say he is not a fan of it. And what he accused Texas A&M of.
What's the kneel for those uninitiated?
That is the name and likeness. You get it.
Teenagers are becoming millionaires through this.
Yeah, and the thing is, Nick Saban made a comment accusing Texas A&M of paying all their recruits, which I'm looking at him like, based on how Texas A&M did last year, they either got to step up their game in paying, or they're paying the wrong goddamn players.
And look, Nick Saban from the perch way high above. You know what I'm saying? Like his car, he might have a new car now, but I saw a video. It was like a couple years ago. Some Mercedes Benz that was looked like it was from the year 2040. I mean, the guy's doing just fine. To be bitching about what other teams are doing with their money when you were probably buying this and that for your own recruits and hooking this up and hooking that up. It just feels like, I don't know for sure. Maybe Nick Saban only engages in the cleanest recruiting processes you've ever seen in your life, strictly by the book. But I would guess somewhere along the way between LSU and other places, he's done a few things. Maybe he has been not so proud of.
I would agree with you if he was still at LSU, but
Oh, his hands on the Bible now at Alabama.
you're at Alabama. You don't have to do no underhanded shit like that. Like all you have to do is say, listen, you're gonna get a chance to play on Saturdays on national spotlight. You're gonna I mean, the talent around you itself is gonna draw enough attention. Like you're
Agreed.
Alabama, you don't have to do that. And I think and Nick Saban's biggest issue, and it's the same as what's the Clemson head coach? Because I think they have the same issue.
Dabo.
Yeah, Dabo Sweeney. I think their issue is this. Their issue is more of like schools like Georgia, Kentucky, Missouri, Texas A&M, Alabama, like Florida, even Florida. Like these schools are going to hurt. This Neil stuff is going to hurt the smaller schools because if I'm a recruit and I got to choose between Memphis and Florida State, I'm going to Florida State. I have a better chance to make more money at Florida State than I do at Memphis.
Exactly. Like that's always the oversight. They always want to make these deals and figure out the money and who can, it's all about equality until it comes down to the actual, dollar bill. And then it's like, how much can we make at the top? It always comes down to that.
I think me personally, I think before they released this Neil deal, they should have it should have came with guidelines. Now I get it, it's still fresh. It's going to be an experiment, but there should have been like some form of guidelines because now you have the transfer portal. And if I'm at a small school, I mean, look what happened. Pittsburgh lost their top receiver to USC. Another receiver from Louisville went to Alabama. So you can see it's already taking shape. And because if it wasn't, if you can't say, well, it's not. Yes, it is. Because if that's the case, I could have went anywhere else in the country. Why did I go to Alabama? Why did I go to USC?
Right.
It's like that's the things like this. It's already taking shape, and it's already going to start hurting these smaller schools.
Before you would have said because those schools give me the best chance to play in the pros.
Exactly.
But now, not only is it that, also it gives me the best chance to get recognized and get on all the magazine covers and the billboards, and which they already were. It's just now they're getting paid for it, which I'm fine. Like, I think it was pretty shitty the way these kids were all getting exploited back in the day. By that, I mean like 2 years ago and beyond, or whatever. Like,
yeah, I absolutely agree, but I still think at this point there's got to be some form of guidelines. As far as like what schools can do, what schools can't do. What these booster club members can do and what they can't do. Like, because if I'm a recruit, right, and I'm a freshman, I'm a senior leaving high school at the age of 17, and you're telling me my first year on campus, I can make $6 million. I'm going to your school. I don't even care if I get to play. I'm going to your school.
By the way, Celtics Heat game just ended. We got a final score: Boston 102, Miami 82. Series tied. Let's do it, baby. Keep this unimpressive, boring ass series going longer, all the way to 7. But yeah, it's let's read a little bit more into this article here. Alabama head coach Nick Saban was the first one to apologize and what has already shaped up to be an explosive back and forth.
I wouldn't apologize for shit.
With Texas A&M coach Jimbo Fisher and Jackson State head coach Deion Primetime Sanders. I should have never really singled anybody out, Saban said during an appearance on ESPNU radio. HT Mike Rodak of AL.com. That was a mistake, and I really apologize for that part of it. He continued. What's up?
Here's something I hate. And I think I mentioned this before, is that I hate this political shit. I do. I hate political shit.
Nobody sticks to their guns anymore.
And when I say political, I'm not talking about like Democrat, Republican. What I mean by is how you have to speak.
Yep.
Why did Nick Saban have to apologize? Why? Because he called you out on your shit? Because you didn't like what he said, or what he said hurt your feelings? I don't see Jimbo Fisher having to apologize for the bullshit he had to say. No. So I don't think, at the end of the day, I don't think you should have to apologize for shit you say. Now, if it's false or it's it's something derogatory, I understand that. But if I'm just speaking and I mention your name, you're a grown ass man. Shut up. Clap back and leave it alone.
He continued and said, I really didn't mean to single anybody out. I apologize for that, but it's the whole system. Is this a sustainable system, and is this good for college football? Saban revealed he reached out to Fisher, who was on his staff at LSU, and Sanders, but, quote, never got a response. I feel bad about it.
I don't.
Maybe later.
And like I said, I'm happy for it. I'm happy for these kids. I'm happy that they're not putting their bodies out on the line anymore and being exploited, because the amount of money that these schools are making off these kids is fucking ridiculous. I mean, even the small schools are making money. And for these kids to go out every Saturday and they're playing on national TV and they're not seeing a penny of it, oh, you kiss my ass. I'm not playing for you. You kiss my ass. But there has to be some guidelines. Somebody has to come up with guidelines. You gotta and I think this, for me personally, this is where you put. Now you may have to go and you may have to look at putting a cap on this kneel stuff per player, like they do in the NFL. Like there's the cap space. I feel like you may have to do that, because if I'm Alabama, I can throw money out easy compared to a school like, let's say, I don't know, Memphis, or what's another small school, UCF. Like those schools ain't gonna be able to dish out that type of money.
Middle Tennessee State.
Yeah, they're not gonna be able to dish out that type of money. We're not gonna be able to compete with these top schools. So I feel like you're going to put a cap on it. So
UNLV.
At some point, you're going to have to say, okay, this is how much you can have per kneel deal on your team. It's going, like I said, this whole thing is an experiment, and I think at some point, maybe like a year or two, they're probably going to finally get a hold of it. It's going to get out of control before it gets better.
What's like the most obscure college you can think of?
Huh?
What's like the most random ass obscure college you can think of?
Appalachian State.
Really?
Obscure?
Yeah, just like a random ass. That's why I always love watching that's the only reason I like watching March Madness. Yeah, the basketball is fun, but just seeing all these dude, the first time I saw the Wichita State Shockers, I was like, hell yes, dude. That is my team.
Yeah, that's a difference between basketball and football. Like basketball, it's different. Like if you get 5 guys who actually know how to play basketball,
yeah,
you can take one of them no-name schools and take them to the top of the mountain easy. But in football, there's no such thing.
I do. Yeah, you always have the Cinderella stories in college football, whether it's UCF from a couple of years ago or Cincinnati this year. But unfortunately, when they make it to the big dance, and
UCF didn't make it to the big dance. They just went undefeated the whole year.
When they make it to the postseason, I should say, or whatever you want to call it. Now,
Cincinnati was a Cinderella story last year.
Yeah. But yeah, according to speaking of guidelines, this says earlier this month the NCAA released guidelines regarding booster-led collectives to reiterate that boosters cannot be involved in recruiting. Goes on to say, while Saban was apologetic Thursday, he made headlines Wednesday. Wow, what a bitch. He made headlines Wednesday when he told reporters, quote, A&M bought every player on their team. Made a deal for name, image, and likeness. We didn't buy one player, but I don't know if we're going to be able to sustain that in the future because more and more people are doing it. He also said Jackson State paid a guy $1 million last year that was a really good Division I player to come to school. It was in the paper. They bragged about it. Nobody did anything about it.
Ain't no fucking way.
What a sore Sally.
Ain't no fucking way. Ain't no way. Ain't no way Jackson State, who just got put on the map, paid a kid $1 million to come pay for it. There's no fucking way. That shit's completely unbelievable.
Well, apparently Travis Hunter, at Travis Hunter Jr. on Twitter said, "I got a mill?" question mark with a laughing emoji, but my mom still stay in a 3-bedroom house with 5 kids, sideways laughing face emoji. So apparently, if he was talking about Travis Hunter Jr., that's not true.
That's the only person he could have been talking about.
Unless he stays in a really nice 3, Could you have $1 million 3-bedroom? Of course you could.
Absolutely.
You got a fireplace, a basketball court in the bedroom.
A whole damn house, a whole 1-story house.
All of a sudden, it's racking up. Especially inflation. I mean, come on. So does Coach. I love how this is all happening on Twitter again. Twitter's the place to be. Thank you, Elon Musk.
Sure is.
At Deion Sanders says, "You best believe I will address that lie Coach Saban told tomorrow. I was awakened by my son," and tagged him. That's freaking hilarious. "I was awakened by my son at Shador Sanders that sent me the article stating that we paid at Travis Hunter Jr." Wow, so lame how social media this is. At Travis Hunter Jr. $1 million to play so he adds twice, which is again hilarious. $1 million to play at Go JSU Tigers FB exclamation point. We as a people don't have to pay our people to play with our people. So prime. Wow. I don't even make $1 million. LOL, said the grown former NFL retired player. Wow.
I don't know. It's gonna be messy before it gets. It's gonna be
thing.
It's gonna be extremely messy before it gets better. Like this whole Neil deal is gonna be. It's gonna be extremely messy.
What a sad state of affairs. What's going on right now? Okay, like in the podcast world, if you've been following, and I know this is a bit off the rails, but like Brendan Schaub and Bobby Lee just had this weird thing that was totally just, if it was real, it was dumb, and if it was fake, it was even dumber. And now there's this, and like, what's going on with this drama right now? It's not even real. Can we focus on real stuff like, Michael Vick going to fan-controlled football? Come on.
Honestly, I don't even know.
Hey, people.
I don't know
Soccer,
why.
Hello.
I don't know why Nick Saban. I don't even know why he decided to say anything. But him and Dabo Sweeney have been very, very vocal ever since this Neil crap came out.
Oh, I gotta see that.
Fuck this guy.
Let's see what Jimbo has to say. This from the Pat McAfee show.
Some people think they're God. Go dig into how God did his deal. You may find out about a guy that a lot of things you don't want to know.
Oh.
We built him up to be the czar of football. Go dig into his past.
Oh.
Or anybody that's ever coached with him.
Oh.
You can find out anything you want to find out.
Oh.
What he does and how he does it. And it's despicable.
Wow, dude. He just said Nick Saban killed Jeffrey Epstein. Oh my God.
These dudes.
This guy just said that Nick Saban's dad shot JFK.
He's an asshole.
This guy.
His feelings were hurt. That's what it was.
That's
why he can't. That's why he responded that way. His feelings were hurt.
This is some real drama for your mama, man.
His feelings were hurt, and he didn't like what Nick Saban said, so he decided, just.
Why don't you go look into his past and who he's worked with?
No one.
Why don't you go look at? He's done blackface about 3 times at a party. I saw it.
No one cares about Nick Saban. No one. No one cares about Nick Saban. No one cares about what Nick Saban has to say. Like, it doesn't make for a great audio clip. 100% it does. But at the end of the day, nobody cares. It's Nick Saban. Nick Saban has been dominating college football for years. No one gives a shit. No one cares if Nick Saban's doing whatever he's doing, as long as it ain't illegal. Don't nobody care. Because if it was illegal, he'd have got caught a long time ago.
Oh man, I'm sad I missed like what Nick Saban said initially. I wish I had, but wow.
That's what started it. When he mentioned whatever he said in that article, That was what started the whole thing. When he said about Travis Hunter and the Texas A&M paying all their recruits, that's basically what started the whole thing. Oh God,
MFers, we're gonna dive into the NFC South.
I hate my schedule. I hate our schedule. This is
We're
our
gonna start
schedule.
off with the division champs. A little unorthodox. Normally, you might work from the bottom up. Not this time around. We are going
So they opening against
trickle
Dallas
down effect.
again.
What's that now?
They're opening against Dallas again.
Again, we got a night game. We got prime time, and I believe that is an away. Yes, that's in Dallas. 8:20, September 11th. The tragedy is gonna happen.
The tragedy. The tragedy that is the Dallas Cowboys.
Yep.
Oh, so now I gotta sit here and be honest about this shit.
And I forgot to mention the last time around. I totally forgot this. The preseason has been shortened to 3 games.
Yeah, good. Because like they need to should keep it 3 games. Honestly, I think it should be 2, and the rest should just be rest and practice.
So the Bucs schedule reads as such for those just listening. Week 1 at Dallas, that's a primetime game. Week 2 traveling to New Orleans. Week 3 they're home against the Packers.
It's a tough schedule.
Yes. Week 4 they are home, and that's a night game against Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. Follow that up at home against the Falcons. Then they travel week 6 to Pittsburgh. Again on the road, week 7 at Carolina. Week 8, they're coming home for a primetime game against the Baltimore Ravens. Week 9, home again versus the Rams. Then week 10, we got a game in Germany. Hello. Third Reich, just kidding. Going to play the Seattle Seahawks in Germany. Man, get your freaking beers ready. What am I trying to say? I can't even remember. Got a bunch of them. Don't even remember what they're called. Steins. Get your beer steins ready. Hello. We got there. Week 11, where they got to buy. A little bit of a break. Week 11. Then they're coming back on the road, taking on Deshaun Watson and Cleveland in Cleveland. That's going to be a great one off the bye. That'll be good. Hopefully. If Deshaun's still around. Week 13. Coming home, taking on Jameis and the boys. That's 8 o'clock. That's if Jameis hasn't already buried the Saints with interceptions at that point. Week 13, December 5th, they are playing the Saints at home. That should be good. By that point in the season, hopefully Jameis has got the ship in the right direction. We've got plenty of weapons to work with.
Hopefully.
Week 14, December 11th, they travel to San Francisco, going all the way across the country. Then they come back week 15, back home to play the Cincinnati Bengals, Super Bowl contending Cincinnati Bengals. Week 16, another night game. This is Christmas, baby. Your Christmas gift is a night game in Arizona. And then week 17, they're at home against the Panthers. Week 18, they travel to Atlanta to wrap it up. Whew. All right.
I'm going to be honest.
Let's talk it over.
New head coach, Todd Bowles.
Yep. But from within the team,
he got Brady. He has Brady.
Yep.
Brady is going to run your offense.
Yep.
The question is going to be,
hey, come on now. Don't take that away from Byron.
Question is, how healthy is he going to be? How healthy is the team going to be? This is a tough stretch. You look at the first, just the first 6 games. You got at Dallas. You was at Dallas, at the Saints. You got Green Bay coming, then Kansas City, followed by the Falcons, and then Steelers.
I mean, those last 2, I would say the first 4 weeks are tough. I think you're squeezing in Atlanta and Pittsburgh for some reason there, but definitely those first 4 games are going to be a doozy.
Anytime we play in our division, we tend to play good until the end of the game.
Okay.
So I mean, dude, this is probably going to be the toughest schedule. I honestly, I could probably give them 10 wins.
You said 10 wins?
Probably 10. I mean,
Dallas. I only gave them 9. I got them 9 and 8.
Dallas is gonna find a way to lose. The
Even with
Saints
the goat?
twice. It's just gonna depend on how Jameis plays. The Saint, and then Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers. So we're just gonna leave that there. Kansas City has Patrick Mahomes. The Falcons twice is gonna depend on how either Desmond Ritter or Marcus Mariota plays, depending on who gets to start for the season. Kenny Pickett's obviously gonna get the start. He's already gonna get the nod to start the season.
Yeah.
Carolina twice. You don't know what's gonna happen with Carolina. Baltimore, I think they probably had the second best draft. They're obviously the defending champs. I can say 10. I'm gonna have to say 10 wins.
Yeah, I think I should bump
Maybe
it up to
11.
10 too.
Maybe 11. Let me see. If you go to let's see, they could go on a good run after the bye, because you got Cleveland, Saints, you have the Niners, Bengals, Cardinals, Panthers, and Falcons. So they probably. I'm gonna say 10. I'm gonna say 10 or 11 for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna bump mine up to 10. I had it 9, but I hate to say it, Nate. Just the quarterback situation right now is too much of a question mark for me for Atlanta.
Too much of a question mark for me as well.
It's just to give them the benefit of a doubt of splitting the division with the way Carolina is a quarterback and the way Atlanta is. I could squeeze a sweep in there, of either Carolina or Atlanta and give them that extra win. Man, the poor people of Germany getting Tom Brady, which is awesome, versus Drew Lock, which is like, ugh.
Drew Lock. I forgot they got Drew Lock. Drew Lock and Tavares Jackson. Geno Smith.
It's bad enough for telling them where to get their oil from. Now we're trying to tell them that Drew Lock is good. What's going on here?
Jesus. Yeah, I'm gonna have to say for this one, I'm gonna have to go 10 wins here.
And some of the key additions for Tampa Bay, like you said, new head coach, but he is from already within the team, so that makes it a little easier. Todd Bowles, they added Russell Gage, which I really like. If Chris Godwin is healthy, which hopefully he is by the time the season starts, I don't know. I haven't been following that injury, but man, the way Gage kind of stepped up, I thought he looked good. When the Falcons finally started to get some things going and Matt Ryan found someone.
He's just not a number 2.
He's not a 2, but he's a good slot.
Yeah,
and that's all they need right now. So you add him in the mix. I think that that's a really nice trio. And then they traded for Shaq Mason. They draft Logan Hall, who probably play right away. They lose. We don't know what's up with Gronk. At least I don't think.
I think Gronk is going to retire. I think he's done.
He's gone. You think?
I think so. I think he might be done. Because he's taking, unless he's really waiting till like the season starts. But what would he be waiting for? Brady's already back. Brady said he's back. But I think Gronk is probably like, I'm done.
That's a good point. Yeah. Also, OJ Howard and Ronald Jones gone. Moving on to New Orleans, let's pull up that schedule. Some additions include Jarvis Landry, Marcus May, Tyrann Mathieu, the Honey Badger.
That shit was gonna happen, dude.
I was pretty sad about that. I'm not gonna lie.
And now my next concern is how much pull do they have with OBJ?
Oh yeah, I definitely Beckham.
Tyrann Mathieu and Jarvis Landry. How much pull do they have for getting him into time? If that happens, I'm done. I'm fucking done.
So they add Marcus May, which initially they lost Marcus Williams, so it was like kind of a 1-for-1 there. But then they also had the Honey Badger. Like, oh, they might
That's
even
a
be
big ass addition.
They might be better at safety than they were. Many people might not remember this, but watch out, Jameis Winston. The Red Rifle is in the house. Andy Dalton was also an addition to this team, as well as draft picks Chris Olave and Trevor Penning. Nate, is there a chance that Andy Dalton, is he like kind of breathing down Jameis's neck, do you think? Or is it Jameis's job for
Jameis,
sure?
Dude, this job is Jameis Winston's.
Okay.
The starting QB is Jameis Winston. That is his job.
No question.
No question. It's Jameis Winston's job. Now, with that being said, it's also Jameis Winston's job to lose. Now, here's my thing. With the Saints, you have Dennis Allen, who's a defensive head coach. He's not nearly as smart as Sean Payton. He's offensive mind, he's not even close. So honestly, for me, this is gonna be a tough year for him. And we're gonna see how Jameis plays because Michael Thomas comes back this year.
Yep.
They're expecting to have Chris Olave and Michael Thomas on opposite sides of the field. For me,
also, they also lost. Just real quick, they also lost Teron Armstead to the Dolphins, and that's where Trevor Penning comes into play.
So it's gonna be a big thing. You got a young guy, trying to take on a veteran's position.
Yep.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Like I said, my whole situation, I'm not really confident in the Falcons right now because I don't know. I feel like Desmond Ridder would be a better fit for us as starting. But as far as that goes, I don't know. Let's see. So Falcons, Bucks, not. Ooh, shit. So their first 3 games of the season is divisional games.
Yeah, let's just go right through it here.
That's gonna be rough.
Looks like this. You start off at Atlanta, at home against the Bucks, then at Carolina.
They have 3 home games.
Yep, nice little 3 home game stretch there. The Vikings, Seahawks, Bengals. Then
I could probably give them 2 wins. Let's see.
At home against the Raiders, at home against the Ravens, at Pittsburgh, at home against the Rams. Then you're finishing up at San Francisco and at Tampa Bay. Oh, my bad. Then you got a bye week. Then you come off the bye week at home against the Falcons, at Cleveland, at Carolina. And then you wrap it up at home against the Panthers. Interesting.
I'm going to say this is like a 9-8, 8-9 type season for me.
Okay.
If they do barely make the playoffs, again, everything is going to depend on Jameis. Everything is going to, because remember, so you got to remember last season. So the first game of the season,
Jameis is this entire team looks, at least on paper, very solid.
But it's going to depend on Jameis.
Yeah.
Because you got to remember, the first 2 games of the last year's season, he played great. They whooped Green Bay's ass, and then after that, it was just downhill from there. Like he started playing bad.
Right. They destroyed Green Bay. Yeah.
He wasn't playing great. Then he got injured. And then that kind of then they just went on a straight downhill fall from there. So it's really this whole season is going to depend on Jameis and how well he plays. My thing is this: you don't have that head coach anymore. So how does Dennis Allen play to Jameis Winston's strengths? How does that work?
Yeah, it's going to be very. I don't know I should have looked up who the OC is, but very interesting, man. Obviously we saw Jameis put up plenty of yards in Tampa Bay when he had the weapons, but he also put up plenty of turnovers.
30.
Yeah, so it's like he was much more conservative last year. They ran the ball quite a bit last year when they needed to. Kamara had, probably the biggest workload rushing wise of his career thus far. So, Ingram's still there. It'll be a nice 1-2 punch with them. But if this is, it would have been nice to see Jameis with Sean Payton. Like you said, I mean, it seemed like maybe there was something going there. I don't know if this disrupts the rhythm or not. Is this LASIK Jameis or is this pre-LASIK Jameis? But
we got to see. And then also the ACL injury.
Right.
So Pete Edwards Carmichael Jr. is the offensive coordinator for the New Orleans Saints.
Can't say it's not ringing too many bells.
He has been, let's see where he's been. So he started in 94. He was an assistant offensive line coach for New Hampshire. Then he went to Louisiana Tech as a QB coach, Cleveland in 2000 as tight ends offensive assistant. Then he went to Redskins for offensive assistant and quality control coach. Then he's with the
Racist.
Chargers. Then he went to the Saints as the QB coach, and he's pretty much been with the Saints since 2006. And now he's the offensive coordinator.
Pretty consistent there. That's nice.
So he's been with the team. Again, it's Sean Payton was the mastermind behind that offense when it came to adjustments, coming to he was the mastermind. I don't know if these guys are going to have the same thought process.
It's just that the thing is, the games that you would call like against weaker teams, like the gimme games, are on the road, so that's kind of working against them.
So let's see. So I mean, I don't see a lot of gimme games.
Well, let's just say you wanted to shit on the Falcons. They're going to Atlanta. First game of the season.
The first game is to
like who knows what? Yeah, who knows what Pittsburgh is going to be with Pickett. So that's at Pittsburgh, deep into the season. Maybe they've got something going there with Pickett and Trubisky, and then at Carolina. So it's like they have this nice three game stretch at home, but the Vikings are going to be tough, even though Kirk Cousins always sucks.
That's not a home game.
Well, no, they're taking on the Vikings at home.
No. Look at the time. That's not a home game. It's somewhere across the ocean.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's an 8:30 game. Anything at 8:30, that's across. They playing in Europe somewhere.
Yeah, it was kind of
It's how they do these stupid ass schedule. So you can't tell. Yeah. It just looks dumb. So that game is going to be like in Germany or London or somewhere.
Could be in Russia. Who knows? But anyway,
not that.
On the 9th, it's going to be in Kyiv. On the 9th, at home against Seattle is probably the most comfortable, I would say, like early in the season. That's definitely a gimme game.
And then they got a Thursday night against Arizona, coming off a game against Cincinnati.
But even with Seattle, like, we're just banking on, I mean, sure, what we've seen so far, like Drew Lock definitely sucks thus far, but and they have weapons. I don't know.
They have weapons, but he had weapons. Drew Lock had weapons in Denver.
True. Very true. That's a good point. We'll talk Seattle in the West, but that's a good point. Yeah, it's just, I have them. I have New Orleans 6-11.
6. I gave them 2 more. I gave them 2 more wins than you did.
Yep.
I give them 8-9. And I say 8-9 because I could probably maybe give them a Cleveland game. Probably take the Falcons game at home. So we'll have to see on that one.
They're not going to be a boring team to watch. I am very intrigued to watch the Saints.
We'll see.
And then we move on to this team.
Who is their quarterback now?
Who knows? Is it
it's like Matt Corral?
Matt Corral? Are they bringing back Slam Newton? One more hurrah?
Yeah, I doubt it.
So for additions, not too sexy. We got Xavier Woods, safety, defensive lineman from the Washington Commanders, Matt Ioannidis, who may not be like a household name, but as someone who's watched him play,
he was good. He was great when he was with the Commanders. He's aged a little, so he's a little north of 30. So we'll see what they get with him.
He's just got that juice. Like, he makes a play and everyone else feeds off it. You've also got linebacker Damian Wilson joining the mix, and then draft picks left tackle Ike Ekwonu. Going to be great, I think.
That's a big addition.
Yep. And then quarterback Matt Corral. Let's see how he fits into the mix here with Sam Darnold.
I think he beats out Sam Darnold. I predict Matt Corral. I predict Matt Corral will be the starter week 1. I think he's going to beat out Sam Darnold.
I could see. Let's just get into it. You got week 1 at home against Cleveland. Week 2, thank goodness you're going to take on the Giants.
I give them 2 wins.
Really? You think they just got it against Cleveland, huh?
No, well, hold on. Cleveland just really upped their defense. They just signed Jadeveon Clowney.
He'll be back.
To a 1-year deal. So Cleveland's going to be a little fishy. We'll see how they protect him. But the Giants should definitely be a victory. Should be a win for them.
Week 3, nice little stretch here, 3-game stretch. Week 3 at home against the Saints. Week 4 at home against the Cardinals. Week 5 at home against the Niners.
Nice little stretch.
Yes. And then week 6, we're going out to the West Coast to take on the Rams. Week 7, coming back to take on the Buccaneers. I keep cutting you off.
It just gets worse from there. Then you get the Niners, which is an easy game. Then you got turn around. Then you got Rams, Bucks, Falcons. Dude, that just don't get any easier.
Yeah, and then you got traveling to Cincinnati week 9, week 10, home against the Falcons. Is that both games against the Falcons already? No. Week 11, going to Baltimore to take on Lamar Jackson. Week 12 at home against Russell Wilson and the Broncos. That's right. Week 14, we're going out to Seattle. Hey-oh, getting coffee. Starbucks. Week 15 at home against the Steelers. Week 16 at home against the Lions. Christmas Eve, there's going to be a present under the tree there. Week 17, see what I did with the Christmas Eve? Yeah. Week 17, celebrating the new year by traveling to Tampa Bay to get spanked by Tom Brady at the Buccaneers. And then week 18, we are playing at New Orleans. To be determined. Why is it to be determined?
Because we don't know the quarterback situation. I
mean the week 18s are all like TBD.
Right. I would probably have to give them 6-11.
Exactly.
5-12.
Nope, we're on the same page there. That's never mind. I got 4-13.
4-13.
Yeah, I'm just.
I say 6-13 is because of this stretch right here. Is the Cleveland the stretch from week 1 to week 5 is a good stretch, and if they play their cards right, I feel like they can win 4 out of those 6 games. Well, 4 out of those 5.
Yeah, I don't know. I just, unfortunately, in the first 5 weeks, I would say only the Giants are not better. Like, I would say the Browns, the Saints, the Cardinals, and the Niners, even at home.
I'm looking at it like this. You got to look at it. So, Cleveland, we don't know who's going to start week 1. We don't know if Deshaun Watson going to start or Baker Mayfield.
We know Deshaun's going to start. They traded all that. Deshaun's going to start week 1.
I don't know because he's still dealing with the league is still got an issue out there.
I guess the only way he doesn't start is if he gets suspended. But yeah, that could happen.
And then you got to look at the Giants. Daniel Jones is dog shit. So
trash.
We can move on from there.
Yes.
Then you got the Saints, new head coach, Jameis Winston coming off the ACL injury. Michael Thomas ain't played in almost 2 years. So there's that element there. Their defense is not what it used to be. You still got Cameron Jordan.
It's good, but they are older.
Cameron Jordan is aged. So
Mario Davis.
Yeah, you can and those they make impact plays, but they're not making consistent impact plays. So so you have a chance there. We don't know what Kyler Murray, he's been beefing with the Arizona Cardinals since the season, since their playoff game. So
yeah, I mean, now that you mention it, all these 3 teams that they're taking on at home, they do have some question marks at quarterback.
Yeah, Debo might not be there for week 5.
Is it going to be Jimmy G? Is it going to be Trey Lance?
DeAndre Hopkins is not going to be there for the Cardinals. They got, and then so you stuck with AJ Green and Marquise Brown. So those are all winnable games if you game plan correctly. And then
if Sam Darnold is playing well, they have a shot for sure.
Right. And then you turn around and then you get shit dumped on you because you got to play the defending champs in week 6. And then you got to go back and at least you got Tampa Bay at home. And then you got 2 away games at Atlanta. Then you got to go to Cincinnati. Then you come back at home against Atlanta. Then you got to go to Baltimore. It's a lot, dude. Like I said, if they have a chance, they got to take advantage of that first 5 weeks.
Do you like when your team plays a divisional opponent like 1 week later. You know what I mean? Like, do you like that, or do you like it to be more spaced out?
I like it to be more spaced out. I hate when I hate when it's that close because it, I feel like we don't, win or lose, you don't really get that time to recover, especially right when you have to turn right the fuck back around and play them because divisional games are a lot tougher than the out of division games.
And you need time, and the drama needs to build.
Right.
There's no drama. There's no drama 2 weeks later.
Now, if it's some shady shit that happened that cost us the game, hell yeah, I want them right away. I want them directly. I want them right the fuck now. But for the most part, no.
Yeah, I usually like it spaced apart. I like to play the Cowboys early, and then I like to play them at Christmas. That's how I like it.
But I agree. I mean, I say, like I said, I gave them the 5 and 6 because of that first week stretch, that first 5 weeks. So we'll see how they play that.
I did put down for losses Stephon Gilmore, but it feels like they never really had Stephon Gilmore.
I don't think they never really had him because he made a couple plays, but they didn't really have him.
Now is when we move into a real NFL team.
Bro, I cried looking at this schedule. I'm not gonna lie to you. I looked at this schedule and I was like, nope. We not
transition, ladies and gentlemen. Finally, what Nate's been waiting for all night long. The Hotlanta Falcons. Key additions include Marcus Mariota, traded for Raiders wide receiver Brian Edwards. Also brought in Auden Tate from Cincinnati. I think fresh from Cincinnati, maybe a different team. Damian Williams, running back.
Geronimo Allison.
Geronimo, really? Okay.
Yes.
Another noticeable question mark name.
It's a big ass question mark.
I do really like who they brought in on defense, though. Casey Hayward, Lorenzo Carter, Rashawn Evans. Then when you talk about the draft, Drake London, Arnold Ebiketie, Troy Anderson, linebacker out of Montana State, and then you draft Cincinnati quarterback Desmond Ridder. If Marcus Mariota just really isn't getting it done, you can bring in the kid and have a little excitement.
I think he might start. I'm gonna be honest. I think he might be our week 1 starter.
Week 1. Wow.
I think so. Because the way, everything I've been seeing and hearing about him has been extremely positive.
Holy shit.
I've been hearing a lot of positive things about him, and I think he might. I mean, he may have a chance to be a week 1 starter.
So here's the thing. I had the Celtics Heat game on, right on my rabbit ears. This is the first time I'm ever seeing the Jimmy Kimmel show, like on TV. It's crazy. Wow. Can't believe this is happening.
Oh.
Anyway.
I'm gonna tell you like this. You see the first 5 weeks for us?
Let me zoom in here because the Falcons, of course, fucking Falcons thing is all stupid.
The first 5 weeks is Saints, Rams, Seahawks, Browns, Tampa, then the Niners. Come on. Who made this schedule?
Well, listen, they're at home against the Saints, which is nice.
Yeah, that's nice. That's nice. That's very nice. I'll take that one. I think we have a chance to win the game.
Then they have to travel to take on the defending Super Bowl champions.
That's a loss.
Then they have to travel just a little bit north to take on the Seahawks.
I think we can beat Seattle.
Okay. Coming back home to take on Watson if he's, active.
I think we can beat Cleveland.
Wow.
I'm confident we can beat. I'm pretty confident we can beat Cleveland. Tampa's going to be a toss-up. And it's at Tampa, so we may lose that game.
My thing with Cleveland is, correct me if I'm wrong, but for years now, Atlanta has had just a downright atrocious rushing defense.
Absolutely, 100%.
So Nick Chubb, Deshaun Watson,
I think we beat them last time we played Cleveland.
Okay.
If I remember correctly.
You were saying about Tampa?
Tampa's going to be a toss-up game, but I'm going to give Tampa because it's at Tampa.
Yeah.
I think we can beat the Niners, especially if they don't have Debo. And not knowing who either is it going to be Trey Lance, is it going to be Jimmy G?
Yep.
We don't know. That's another team that has quarterback issues.
The running back, they're always getting a
Cincinnati.
new running back getting hurt. Kittle's always hurt.
Right. Cincinnati's going to be a tough one. Me personally, I want to see how our defense plays. Like the first 3 weeks is going to tell me how the defense is going to play. Obviously we got to go against, Jamar Chase, that, and then the rest of his hooligans. It's at Cincinnati. I'm gonna give that game to Cincinnati. I feel like we should be able to beat Carolina. That's a 10:30. Why is it 10:30 at? Oh, I'm looking at the date. We can beat Carolina. Yeah. Is at home to Carolina. We can beat Carolina. That's not gonna concern myself with that. Chargers is gonna be a problem. Chargers is definitely gonna be a problem. It's a home game, but I'm gonna give it to the Chargers. Carolina, it's a Sunday. Is that a Sunday night game? It is with an asterisk, so it means it's made subject to change.
Look at Atlanta getting prime time in Carolina. Hey yo, look at this popping up.
I just don't. I'm gonna have to take. I'm gonna have to. I think we sweep Carolina, just based on. You don't know what the hell is happening in Carolina right now.
Well, here's the question: is Christian McCaffrey still healthy by week 10?
That's the question. That's gonna be the biggest question: is Christian McCaffrey gonna be healthy?
Yeah.
We got Chicago. We can be Chicago. I give us Chicago, and I give them Washington.
Yeah, I like this. I really like their odds between
so that's
Carolina,
that's
Chicago, and Washington.
Yeah, stretch, and then who we got after that?
Pittsburgh,
and then a bye week.
Yep.
I think if we play our cards right and we can stay somewhat healthy, we make it to the bye week. I feel like we'll be in good position. Then we have the Saints after the bye.
Yeah, I like taking on whether it's Pickett or Trubisky. I like that they're at home for that. Going into the bye, they're thinking about the time off. Hopefully, they're not thinking too much about the time off and they forget about the game. But
let's see, Saints. Oh my God, that is not fun.
Yeah,
at Saints, at Baltimore, and Christmas Eve it's cold. We suck at cold weather.
Yeah,
and then we got the Cardinals and then Bucks. Man, look, I gotta be honest with myself. 5-12, 4-13, at best. Maybe at best, 6-11. Maybe 6-11. We don't make the playoffs this year.
You said you will or won't?
Hell nah, we ain't making the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna make the playoffs. I also have 6-11. I feel good about some of the stretches of the season. Yeah,
6-11 is gonna be a stretch for me. Honestly, it's a stretch. I'm looking more at 4-13, 5-12, somewhere around there. I don't see us like really like making an early impact.
It's mostly. I mean, week 6 at San Fran's at home. Like that is a winnable game, like we talked about with their quarterback situation. And then I mean, Carolina, the Chargers are going to be tough, and then Carolina again. But I just think if they can get something going here between Carolina, Chicago, and Washington, and then that leads into Pittsburgh. I mean, that could be a 4-game winning streak there going into the bye.
It could be. But my thing is, like I said, we're gonna see again. Nothing about this team says that we're over the Super Bowl. Like we've still blown leads, we've still pissed away games. Like nothing, even with this new with this new regime,
quarterback.
With this new regime, nothing seems to change. Our defense is still shit. We still can't get sacks. We can't do much shit. So for me, it was just like, what can we do? Like, how can we change this?
What sticks out too is, Arthur Smith, obviously former Tennessee head coach, big receivers in Tennessee, and now they've got some really big receivers here.
And that's what they went. They all their receivers are big.
Kyle Pitts, Drake London, Brian Edwards is big, Auden Tate's big. Like these are box you out. Like probably not going to win the separation game, but if you can
They can
block
win
in
that
the
jump
running
ball
game,
50-50.
yeah. So that'll be interesting to see. If Mariota's got, can he throw these guys open? Is he going to be running more than we've seen him in the past? Like who? That'll be interesting.
I think Desmond Ritter. I think they brought in Marcus Mariota because they knew they were going to take a quarterback, and Desmond Ritter. I think he's going to start week 1.
Man, you got these hot quarterback week 1 takes.
I do. I think
I'm excited for
I'm
that.
telling you. I predict. Obviously, Kenny Pickett is going to be a week 1 starter.
So wait, let me recap. So Deshaun Watson is or is not? You think he's going to be suspended?
I think so.
Okay, so Deshaun Watson not starting week 1. Desmond Ritter starting week 1. What was the other one? Is Trey Lance going to start week 1?
It just depends on how he plays. I think it's going to be Jimmy G week 1, but I think at some point in the season they're going to be like, all right, we drafted this kid the first round. It's time. It's time.
Then you also said Matt Corral week 1.
I think Matt. Oh fuck yes. Name one. You know. There's no way he loses to Sam Darnold. There's no way he loses the quarterback. Charlie. No, there's no way. If you let Sam Darnold take over your team again, you need to be smacked in your head.
What's really interesting too about the Falcons is not one offensive lineman is drafted later than the 3rd round. They've invested. You can't say they've not invested in the offensive line.
Invested. And the fact, I'm gonna put you like this: since 2006, the last player we drafted from Georgia was DJ Shockley. Last Georgia player. We drafted 2 this year.
That's a stat. So you're talking about Schaefer and who else?
No, Justin Schaefer, and then there was a tight end that we took.
Okay, Fitzpatrick.
Fitzpatrick, yes. Those were the two we took.
Wow, of all the Georgia Bulldogs to choose from.
2006.
Thank God they got Justin Schaefer and John Fitzpatrick.
Hey, you know what? Like I said, when we went in with a plan for our draft, and we didn't stray away from it.
It's okay. Green Bay got Quay Walker and Devontae Wyatt. The Eagles got Jordan Davis and Nakobe Dean. But thank God the Falcons got.
Well, we needed the offensive line because Jalen Mayfield was getting his ass whooped last year. He was getting molested.
Really?
He was getting molested last year. Like, it was borderline bad at some points. Like, he was getting molested. Matt Ryan was. If we had a replacement, we'd have replaced his ass because he was getting bulldozed.
I do like that if the Titans were not going to get Tyler Vrabel, at least the guy who used to work for Mike Vrabel got Tyler Vrabel. So that's pretty cool. So Mike Vrabel's son there on the offensive line.
It's going to be, and then remember, we still got Felipe Franks back there as quarterback.
What the hell you say? Okay. And the Eagles got Reed Sinnett. Okay. What are we doing here?
So
why'd you bring that up?
I don't know. I just saw his name, so I just started bringing him up.
Don't forget Felipe Franks, former Florida quarterback.
So I think, like I said, I feel like Desmond Ritter, I think he might be out Marcus Mariota. I really do. He's younger. The talent's there. He has the arm strength. He has the speed. I think he beats out Marcus Mariota, and I think for me, it's going to be how fast he picks up the playbook, and I think he's a smart kid, and I think that's what I think it's going to be. He's going to be our week 1 starter, and I'm not going to say he's going to take us all the way to the playoffs, but he's going to give us a breath of fresh air from Matt Ryan.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes a new quarterback can do that for a team. I don't think he's going to be week 1, but, the Saints, the Rams, and then if they lose to Seattle, I could see them putting in the kid for the home game against Cleveland. Coming back from Seattle, if they are 0-3, I could see them putting in Ritter.
We'll see. Like I said, for me. I feel like the NFC South is going to have 2 rookie starting QBs week 1. I think Trey Lance at some point, he unless he made like a tremendous jump over Jimmy G, and it's not really that much you got to jump, but if he made that leap this year, I think he'll be a week 1 starter. But from where I'm sitting, I don't see him being a week 1 starter, especially with Debo having the issues he's having. Obviously, we all know Kenny Pickett. There's no way Kenny Pickett doesn't start week 1.
Right.
There's no way the Pittsburgh is like, we just drafted him week 1, and we signed Trubisky. We're gonna start Trubisky week 1. There's no fucking way. Ain't no fucking way.
Last thing I'll say about the offense, running back is going to be interesting to watch for this team. Algier out of BYU is a big guy, and if that's what Arthur Smith wants, like a pounder like he had in Henry, then Algier is definitely the guy over Damian Williams or Cordero Patterson. Patterson's going to have a big role like he did, and he should. Like, he's explosive and he makes big plays. But I would watch out if you're a fantasy guy, if you're in the fantasy world, look at Algier to maybe get this job later on.
If we can get a running game going, Desmond Ritter will be our week 1. I'm saying Desmond Ritter because I believe I believe they drafted him.
Well, you just do not like Mariota, huh?
I'm not. I don't have nothing against it. Actually, I was kind of excited about him. But when they drafted Desmond Ritter, I was kind of like, okay, I feel like this is them taking Matt Ryan's successor. This is it. And Marcus Mariota was just to come in and to mentor. At the end of the day, he does know Arthur Smith's playbook.
Yeah, he knows it, dude. I'm a big Mariota guy. Like, when he was getting drafted that year in 2015, Chip Kelly was the quarterback of the Eagles. I thought for sure Mariota was going to be the quarterback of the Eagles, so I was all ready for it. And now I'm excited he's getting another starting job. And it'll be. I think
it's going to be a tight competition for QBs for us.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be a tight competition, and I think, like I said, I got a lot of faith in Ritter. Like, I've watched a lot of his highlights. I've watched a lot of what he's done in college, and he's made a lot of big plays.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
And he is actually a lot more athletic than what I had given him credit for initially. Like, he can definitely move and make plays with his legs. What I really like about the Falcons this year, this is probably the best I've felt about their defense in some time. Like, they had a good defense in that Super Bowl year. Like, Deion Jones was definitely at the top of his game, playing at the top of his game. And then he had a good pass rush. But, boy, I feel good about Grady Jarrett and bringing in Lorenzo Carter, who may not be a household name just yet, but I've seen him firsthand from the Giants, and he can definitely get after the quarterback. You bring in Rashaan Evans in the middle. Yes, from Tennessee. And not only that, though, like, drafting Troy Anderson, bringing in a guy like Nate Landman, who probably nobody knows, but if you look him up, Colorado.
He's from Colorado. He's a great run stopper.
Definitely knows for the football. Kwiatkowski got a big contract from the Raiders not too long ago. Mykal Walker played well for them last year. So I do like what they have going on a linebacker. And then Ebiketie was one of my favorite edge rushers in all the drafts. So
I'm going to be honest with you. A lot of these linebackers that we have, they're not going to be used for what they're not going to be used for. They're going to be used to go after the quarterback.
Yeah. D'Angelo Malone, great example of that. Yeah, for sure.
They're all 100% are going to be go get the quarterback. 100%.
But, like, having Casey Hayward, that veteran presence in the back end, is very big. I like that addition. Richie Grant, second year.
They trust him. That's why we didn't draft a corner. They trust Casey Hayward on that other side.
I enjoy it. I think this could be, hopefully, because they're going to need it. They're going to need
the
defense.
All the shit we got to deal with this year?
Yep. Yes, sir. That's the Falcons in a nutshell.
So Like I said, my prediction, it's 5-11 is where I'm gonna sit. But they may surprise. They may surprise us.
What was your prediction again?
5-11 for the Falcons.
5-11. I believe in your team more than you do.
I believe, the thing is this. I've had a lot. I can't come in with unrealistic expectations. I can't come in and expect, Marcus Mariota or Desmond Ridder to come in and just come in and just like straight dominate. I can't expect that. I mean, what I can expect is to come in and just, baby steps, a little bit at a time. One win, one game every week, just one game at a time. And just see how we manage.
MFers of all ages, thanks so much for joining us tonight. Congratulations to the Boston Celtics, keeping this boring ass series going. It's 2-2 now. Hopefully Marcus Smart and Tyler Herro. What's the deal with their injuries? Are they going to be back? Do you know?
They probably will be. I think they're just a little banged up. Everybody in this year has been banged up.
So best wishes to those guys. Hopefully they're back. Hopefully this series ends on a bang. Can't wait to see how Golden State and Dallas play tomorrow. Come on, Luka. Keep it going, baby. I know the odds are against you. Apparently 0-146 is what you're looking at.
Luka's trying. He's been trying. He's trying to get it together.
He has. We talked about equal pay. We talked about the NFC South. Thank you guys so much. Now, if you find the show organically, please share it. If you got the show by getting it shared, share it again. We love you. We'll see you next week. Same time, same place. Nate, thank you so much for joining me again.
Absolutely. This is fun. Love doing this.
Putting in the work, baby. It's almost 2 hours.
Ready?
MFers, have a good night. We love you.